everyone, Tim Schofield here, and I've been using the OnePlus Pad for about 2 weeks now, and this tablet just got released at $479, a very compelling price point, especially with the specs that it has, including that MediaTek Dimensity 9000 processor. MediaTek's actually the #1 chipset provider for Android tablets, so no surprise that OnePlus chose them to power this OnePlus Pad. Big thanks to MediaTek for sponsoring this video on the OnePlus Pad. We're gonna talk through my further experiences aside from my unboxing video after using the OnePlus Pad in a bunch of different scenarios, talk through the performance, the battery life, and a lot more. Let's get started. Right away, I'd like to touch on design of the OnePlus Pad. It's surprisingly thin, and yes, we'll touch more about the keyboard case and the pen as well a little bit later on, but even with the case on it, it's very thin. So I'm really impressed. It makes this tablet very portable. It's very light, no trouble bringing it with me. And when you're looking at that 11.61 inch display, the bezels are just about as thin as you want them to be. With the tablet, you have your thumbs overlapping the sides, and you don't want a bezel-less display with a tablet because then you get some accidental touches on the sides. So I'm impressed with how thin the bezels are, just about as thin as I'd want on a tablet. Speaking of that screen, this is an LCD display on the OnePlus Pad, which I personally would have preferred an AMOLED display. Obviously, that would have brought the cost up, so having an LCD display. But one good thing, since it's powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 9000, that supports up to 144 Hertz. So this tablet will actually up its refresh rate all the way up to 144 Hertz. Because it supports up to 144 Hertz on this pad, everything just looks so smooth and snappy, especially if you're doing some gaming, maybe browsing, scrolling, some streaming your favorite shows. Hopefully more and more apps start to support this 144 Hertz refresh rate, but the screen will dynamically shift refresh rate depending on the content that's shown, from 120 Hertz down to 60 Hertz, which will definitely help save battery life. Speaking of that battery life, the Dimensity 9000 chipset is extremely energy efficient, and then you couple that with the 9510 milliamp hour battery in the OnePlus Pad. I've actually really been impressed with battery life when doing some heavy multitasking gaming, but especially with the standby time, which is super important on a tablet because if I just lock the screen, set it aside, close the case, whatever, and I come back to it, I don't want it to have drained a ton of battery, and this does not do that. So big shout out to OnePlus and MediaTek for the great battery life on the OnePlus Pad, but also really nice. It has 67 watts of charge. It charges really fast, just another perk. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the pad is very thin and light, so very portable. I even brought it with me to the golf course. I had to get a little work done, so I was sitting in the cart responding to a couple emails, no big deal. And then of course, this MediaTek powered OnePlus Pad has a 13 megapixel rear camera, which will shoot up to 4K resolution video. So we filmed some of our golf swings, got some pictures of our setup. And once we got those pictures done, I was able to use the pen and actually draw, analyze. It's much easier on a bigger screen to analyze the pictures that you take than on a phone screen. And again, with that high-end Dimensity 9000 chipset from MediaTek, high-end gaming is fantastic. I've been playing a lot of games like PUBG, maybe Asphalt 9 as well at a coffee shop or just out and about. And yes, the OnePlus Pad is very powerful, so we can run those high-end games very easily. The MediaTek Dimensity 9000 has a great GPU, so graphics look very good as well. But with the OnePlus Pad, maybe you don't just want a high-end game. It's great for reading as well. You can use it vertically when you're scrolling through some various articles, but also horizontally when you're just kind of cozying up, reading a good book, having 2 pages side by side. It's even great to have just in the kitchen, looking up some recipes, or even while cooking, you're watching your favorite YouTuber while things are cooking. Not only that, multitasking has been fantastic. Whether you have a lot of apps open at once, there's even a 2-finger gesture to go side by side with apps. You can resize them to your liking. And with the 8 powerful cores it has, the Dimensity 9000 keeps everything running smoothly. And even on the OnePlus Pad, there's a feature called floating windows, which I've started using all the time. Floating windows allows you to have multiple apps open at the same time in miniature windows that you can resize to your liking, move them around, even hide them over to the side as well. It takes a quick gesture with 4 or 5 fingers to open them in floating windows. And having these floating windows does give you that true multitasking experience, having them off to the side where you can access them at your will. You can drag and drop files between different apps. And quick side note, when you do have split screen open, you can use it in portrait mode. And when you're using that case, for whatever reason, if you want to, you can have it stand up not just horizontally, but also vertically as well. And speaking of the keyboard case on the OnePlus Pad, I'm a big fan actually. It connects how it should, it works how it should. No issues with skipping keys, anything like that. It's comfortable to type on. I do need to get used to the keyboard shortcuts. That's just one thing that I'll need a little bit more time to do. And also, the pen has been great. It magnetically attaches to the top, so it stays with you. I had it in my golf bag, stayed attached. It's been in my backpack, and no issues with it coming detached inside. So that's great. Also, the quick note-taking is one of my favorite things. I prefer to handwrite some notes over typing. It just helps me remember them better and just have them. You can obviously do your coloring. You can take screenshots and quickly write notes for people. It's just super handy to have a stylus right at your fingertips that's attached to your tablet. One thing I'd like to point out is the speakers are very solid on the OnePlus Pad. I will say once it gets above about 80%, you start to lose. Some of the quality gets very loud, but even at 80%, it's more than loud enough to fill a room, and it's high quality sound. But also, depending on the orientation that you're using the speakers, the sound will sort of change the channels, which is really nice, especially because obviously if you're using it portrait, the sound's coming above and below you, and you have the left side speakers on the top and bottom. And then if you're looking at it horizontally, then obviously the left side are just the 2 on the left and the 2 on the right. So that's a really nice feature to have because you're gonna watch content in different orientations. So overall, I've been really impressed with the OnePlus Pad over the past couple weeks. It's very handy to have with me, especially when I'm a little bored, wanna play some games or watch some videos, or even just send a couple emails, get a little bit of work done. It's very versatile and it doesn't take up a lot of space. So with all that being said, if you're looking for a fast, smooth experience on a very light and portable tablet, look no further than the OnePlus Pad, powered by that MediaTek Dimensity 9000 chipset. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this Android tablet. I think at this price point, it is very, very competitive. Definitely worth checking out with the additional accessories, the pen and the keyboard case as well. So anyways, thanks for being here. Be sure to click that subscribe button. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.